Very good morning to everyone. From today onwards, we are going to start off with your English literature, okay, as your another subject, foreign language. Okay, so there are going to be few units in this, and the first unit is going to deal with your short stories. Unit number 1, inside that, first chapter is your A Shadow. Now, I hope you guys know before we get started that there were the days when we used to watch Doordarshan instead of watching, there were many TV channels. Rather than that, we used to watch what? Doordarshan, yes. So during those times, what most famous was Swami and its friends. Yes, you guessed it right. I'm talking about the Malgudi days. Yes, how can we forget our childhood without such special memories which R.K. Narayan has created? So, a short story from the Malgudi Days book is A Shadow, which we are going to see today. Before we get started, we'd like to see who is R.K. Narayan. Okay, so if you Google it, you'll see that he was a writer. Okay, he was born in 1906 in Madras Presidency. Okay, and he was very famous for his special book for Malgudi Days. Otherwise, he has wrote many literature books. The Guide, Swami and his friends, The English Teacher. All of them have a very beautiful, nice stories if you go through it. Okay, and now, how you're going to download your literature book? Now everyone doesn't has what do you say? Now everyone doesn't has textbooks or everything. So instead of doing that, what we will do, we'll just search for R.K. Narayan, a shadow, which is your chapter name. Okay. Instead of a shadow, you can search for Malgudi Days free PDF download. Okay, if you're going to search this, you might have seen that I have searched many of them. Okay, the links. Okay, here you go, and here you can download. Okay, it will get downloaded on this link, PDF drive. Okay, once this is downloaded, or you can search another website, this one. Okay, instapdf.in/malgudi days by RK Narayan and slash. Here you can just go through this. Okay, and here if you click on download PDF now, it will give you this link, and then just click on download. It will start getting downloaded. Okay, or this will be shown to you. Just go on download. Okay, this option, it will get downloaded. Okay, it is 182 pages book. Okay, since this is over, I'm going to go in my download section. Okay, and I'm just going to copy paste here. Okay, I get this. I open it. Okay, so you see this beautiful book opened up. Okay, there are these contents and everything. They are very short stories. Okay, now our story which we are going to study is about a shadow. Okay, just select it and you'll see this. Okay, now this story I'm gonna post an audible audio as well on your Google Classroom once this is supposed to be done. Okay, let's get started. The chapter name is A Shadow. Sambhu demanded, "You must give me 4 annas to see the film tomorrow." His mother was horrified. How could this boy she had been dreaded for 6 months pass the arrival of the film? How could people bear to see him on the screen when they knew he was no more? She had a vague hope that producers might not release the picture out of consideration for her feelings. And when a procession appeared in the street with a tom tom and band, and with young boys carrying play cards and huge colored portraits of her husband, she resolved to go out of a town for a while. But it was a desperate and unpractical resolve. Now the picture had arrived. Her husband was going to speak, move, and sing for at least 6 hours a day in that theatre 3 streets off. Now, for the first paragraph we have read, ensure that whenever there is a comma, okay, you have to pause for at least 1 second. Okay, whenever there are dialogues, make sure that you give an expression to it over it. Okay, and even if there is a full stop is also known as period or commas. Remember, you have to give pause for 1 second. How could this boy? Exclamation mark is an expression. Okay, you can be either surprised or shocked if somebody is giving you a surprise or a shock, or you are in shock. Okay, and if there is a question mark, you have to give a tone like a question mark. Okay, now Sambhu is a small kid. Okay, he needs 4 annas or 4 rupees to see the film tomorrow, which in this picture his father will be acting as a hero, but his mother is horrified, means she is very struggling kind of thing. Okay, because Sambhu's father or her husband has been expired. It's been almost 6 months. Okay, she thought that the producers might not produce the film because he has been dead, but it was all of hopeless because it was going to get produced. Okay, vague hope. What do you understand by vague? It is just something which is not useful. Okay, like if you're hoping for something but it is too much, like for example, I'm hoping for okay, tomorrow I'll get $1 million, but it is vague hope, it is useless. Okay, and appeared with the tom tom, like uh, what do I say, tom tom. Okay, and when procession appeared, procession means moving vehicles or different things. Okay, a number of people moving vehicles or forwardly in the same fashions. Okay, and she got to know that her husband is going to speak, move, and sing on the theater screen because it is going to get released. Okay, Sambhu, who's he is their son. He was very delighted, very excited as his father had come back to life, because that is the only last time when they would be able to see his father on the screen. Mother, won't you also come and see the picture? He starts asking the question to his mother that would not be interested to watch the picture. She says, "No, please, you must come." He pleaded her to come and watch the movie in the theater. She had to explain to him how utterly impossible it would be for her to see the picture. The boy had a sort of ruthless logic. Why should it be impossible? Aren't you seeing his photos? Even that big photo on the wall every day? So he starts cross questioning his mother that why she doesn't want to see the movie. Okay, and ruthless is like you are being rude, or it doesn't make any sense kind of stuff. Okay, logic. Okay, showing no mercy or no pity to somebody. But these photos do not talk, move, or sing. When Sambhu asked his mother gave a reply that these photos do not move or talk and sing, and yet you prefer to the picture which has life. Now Sambhu replies to his mother that even though these things do not move and sing, you still want to go with that, you still want to stare at those pictures. The whole of the next day, Sambhu was in great excitement. In his classroom, whenever his master took his eyes off from a moment, he leant over and whispered to his neighbor, "My father was paid 10,000 rupees to act in that film. I'm seeing it in this evening. Aren't you also coming?" Now, Sambhu was very excited to see his father's film because it would be his last appearance on the screen where he can see his father alive, okay, move and sing and act. And he was very excited that during the class, whenever his teacher was teaching, okay, he had no concentration on kids. He would rather talk to his friends and ask them, are they going to come or not. And he also said with excitement that his father was paid 10,000 rupees to act in the film, okay, and he's going to see this film in the evening. He asked, are you not coming to his friends? To see Kumari sneered his friend. He hated Tamil pictures. I won't even pass that way. His friend said they are least interested in watching a Tamil film. So on that, Sambhu says, this is not like other Tamil films. My father used to read the story to us every night. It is very interesting story. He wrote the whole story himself. He was paid 10,000 rupees for acting and writing and acting. I will take you to the picture if you are also coming. So when his friend said that he's least interested in Tamil films, Sambhu says that his father wrote the film, also he acted in that. It is going to be interesting films, not as the old movies which has monotonous storylines, okay. So he also said that his father used to read them the story every single day. Now next, I won't see a Tamil picture, his friend replied. Now Sambhu says, this is not an ordinary Tamil picture, it is as good as an English picture, okay. This is his Sambhu's reply. Now, but Sambhu's friend was adamant. Now, how do I say adamant? For example, Ziddi, yes, I hope you understand. Now, Sambhu's friends were adamant. Sambhu had to go alone and see the picture. It was an attempt at a new style in a Tamil films, a modern story with minimum of music. Like we all know that in TV serial and be it a TV serial or be it any other thing, usually they have more music than the plot, okay. So in those times he said that there was least of music and more of a storyline which was very modern. It was a story of Kumari, a young girl who refused to marry at 14 but wanted to study in a university and earn an independent living, and was cast away by her stern father, Sambhu's father, and forgiven in the end. Now this talks about the movie story, which means that Kumari was a young girl who didn't marry, who refused to marry at the age of 14, and she wanted to study in the university and be independent so she can earn for herself and live by herself. She was thrown away from the house by her father, who was very strict, okay, like each and every girl's father is strict. And at the end, she was forgiven. Sambhu, sitting in 4 Anna class, was eagerly waiting for the picture to begin. It was 6 months since he had seen his father, and he missed him badly at home. The hall darkened. Sambhu sat through the trailers and slide advertisement without enthusiasm. He was least interested about the advertisements, okay, and he was sitting in the 4 Anna class and he just wanted the movie to begin. Finally, his father came on the screen. He was wearing just dhoti and shirt he would used to wear at home. He was sitting at his table just as he used to sit at home. And then a little girl came up and he patted her on the head and spoke to her exactly as he used to speak to Sambhu. And then father taught the girl arithmetic. She had a slate on her knee and he dictated to her. A cartman wants 2 annas per mile. Rama has 3 annas on hand. How far will the cartman carry him? The girl chewed her slate, pencil, and blinked. Father was showing signs of impatience. Go on, Kumari, Shambhu muttered. Say something, otherwise, you will receive a receive a slap presently. I know him better than you do. Kumari, however, was a better arithmetician than Sambhu. She gave the right answer. Father was delighted. How he would jump about in a sheer delight whenever Sambhu solved a sum correctly. Sambhu was reminded of a particular occasion when, by sheer fluke, he blundered through a puzzle about a cistern with a leak and a tap above it. Her father jumped out of his chair when he heard Shambhu declare that it would take 3 hours for the cistern to fill again. Now, this is showing the scene where the movie has begun, and just like every day, Shambhu's father would behave at home, he also behaved in the movie. Okay, so here, Rama was a girl who was acting in the movie, and she was the daughter, okay, and she was giving some problem to solve, and she solves it correctly. And here we have seen that father is delighted, and he jumps out of joy because she solves the sum correctly. And Shambhu was reminded of a similar occasion when he had a sheer fluke when he blundered through a puzzle. Cistrine is something which you'd there is how would I explain cistrine to you? See, you have Western toilets, right? The water tank through which you just swipe or something, do whatever. There are many types of cistern. Wait, I'll show you how cistern looks like. It is better to show you. Okay. Mm, okay, this is a water tanker. Okay, that would take, and even your what do you say? Mm, Western bathroom water storage is also known as cistern. Okay, so he solved the puzzle correctly, and his father was extremely happy. Okay, and one more thing, fluke meaning means luckily he solves, and by mistake or something like that. Just like, for example, he solved the maths answer correctly, but it was just like tukka maar diya kind of stuff. Okay, when the film ended and the lights were switched on, Sambhu turned about and gazed at the aperture in the projection room as his father had vanished into it. The world now seemed to be a poorer place without father. He ran home. His mother was waiting for him at the door. It is 9 o'clock. You are very late. Now, when the film ended and lights were switched off, obviously, Sambhu tried to see the screen more because he wanted to see the picture more. But the projection, okay, whenever you see the film, it is through the camera lens. Okay, it gets closed and it gets vanished off whenever the picture gets over. Okay, now the world seemed to be very sad and very poor for Shambhu because his father was no more. So he ran home, and his mother was waiting for him, and it was 9 o'clock, and she said, "You are very late. I would have loved it if the picture had lasted even longer. You are perverse, mother. Why won't you see it?" He just was like, "Why didn't you watch the movie? If you would have watched, it would have been better." Okay, but she was very sad because of her own reasons, because she didn't wanted to see her husband like that. Okay, I hope this is understood by you. Next is, throughout the dinner he kept talking exactly as father used to sing, exactly as he used to do, exactly as he used to walk, exactly. His mother listened to him in grim silence. She was very sad and she was listening to him that, okay, okay, okay. Why don't you say something, mother? She says, I have nothing to say. Don't you like the picture? She didn't answer this question. She asked, would you like to go and see the picture again tomorrow? To that, Sambhu answers, yes, mother, if possible every day as long as the picture is shown. Will you give me 4 annas every day? Then his mother says, yes. Will you let me see on the both shores of every day? Oh no, you can't do that. What will happen to your lessons? Now this lessons means your usual class lessons, or you're missing out your class. Like every mother is worried about their kids. Okay. Would you come and see the picture, mother? No, impossible. For a week more, 3 days 3 hours in a day, Sambhu lived in his father's company and felt depressed at the end of every show. Now, come on, if you see for example, if your father is no more and if you see him on the screen, you'll feel a bit depressed, okay? Every day it was parting for him. He longed to see the night show too, but mother bothered too much about school lessons. Time was precious, but mother did not seem to understand. Lessons could wait, but not father. He envied those who were seeing the picture at night. He was like bit jealous of people who were unable to see, because he was unable to see picture at the night but other peoples could see. He was jealous of the people who could see the picture at night. Unable to withstand his persuasions anymore, his mother agreed to see the picture on the last day. They went to the night show. She sat in the women's class. She had to muster all her courage to sit down for the picture. She had a feeling of great relief as long as the slight advertisement and trailer pieces lasted. When the picture began, her heart beat fast. Her husband talking to his wife on the screen, playing with his child, singing, walking, dressing, same clothes, same voice, same anger, same joy. She felt that the whole thing was a piece of cruelty inflicted on her. As a wife, she was a bit jealous of these things happening, because it was like being very cruel that everything is happening in front of her. She shut her eyes several times, but the picture fascinated her. It had reading a newspaper. It had the fascination of thing which is painful. And then came a scene where he reclined in the chair reading a newspaper. How he would sit absorbed in a newspaper in the years of married life. How often had she quarreled? Quarrel means to fight with him for it. Even on the last day, he had sat thus after dinner in his canvas chair. With the newspaper before him, she had lost her temper at the sight of it and said, "You and your newspaper. I could as well go and sleep off the rest of the day," and left his company. When she saw him later, he had fallen aback in his chair and the sheets of paper over his face. This was unbearable scene, a sob burst from her. Now she was imagining that he used to be always in the newspaper, and just like we are so engrossed with our mobile that we don't see the other world out of that. Okay. So she got irritated and she said, "You and your newspaper, I could go and sleep the rest of the day." And she left him just like that. When she saw him, he was fallen aback on the chair, and the entire newspaper was on his face. It was a very unbearable scene for her, and she started crying. Okay, so burst from her. Sambhu, sitting in his next seat on men's side, liked to see his father in the newspaper scene, because the girl would presently come and ask him he was reading, annoy him with questions, and get what she deserved. Father would shout, "Kumari, will you go out or shall I throw you out?" The girl didn't know how to behave with her father, and Shambhu disliked her intensely. While waiting eagerly the snubbing of the girl, Sambhu heard a burst of sobbing in the women's class. Presently there was a scramble of feet and cry, "Put the lights on, accident to someone." This show was stopped. Okay. Now obviously his mother was crying, and she felt everything like happening around her. Okay. And the other scene was going on with Kumari on the screen. Now, while waiting eagerly, the snubbing of the girl. Now, what do you understand by snubbing? Just ignore the girl type. Okay, snubbing is ignore. Sambhu heard the burst of in the woman's class. Obviously, it was his mother. Presently, there was a scramble of feet and cry. Okay, and it was in the woman's class. Okay, scramble. What do you understand by scramble? It is a scratch, okay, um, in the feet. So put on the lights, accident to someone. This show was stopped. People went heater, like everyone, like if a movie stopped, how people would react out of a sudden. Yeah, just like that in the theater, people reacted. Sambu, sorry, cursing this interruption, stood up on the bench to see what the matter was. He saw his mother being lifted from the floor. This is my mother. Is she also dead? Screamed Sambhu and jumped over the barrier. He wailed and cried. Someone told him she has only fainted. Nothing has happened to her. Don't make a fuss. They carried her out and laid her in the passage. The lights were put out again. People returned to their seats and show continued. Mother opened her eyes, sat up and said, "Let us go away." Yes, mother. He fetched a jutka and helped her into it. As he was climbing into it from the darkened hall, familiar voice, "Kumari, will you go out or shall I throw you out?" Now this was the scene when Sambhu and his mother was leaving the theatre and his father's voice said, "Kumari, will you go out or shall I throw you out?" Sambhu's heart became very heavy and he felt to burst into tears. He was affected by both his mother's breakdown when she was crying and by the feeling that he is parting from his father for the last time, because this was the last time when the picture was shown on the screen. They were changing the picture next day. Okay, this is the story. It is very sad that his father, he wanted to see his father more and more, but his father was no more. So, what moral do you get from this is that whatever you have with you, please try to preserve it. Okay, try to respect them. Don't have your ego in between. Okay, guys, this is a very nice story which I personally like, and we used to watch these Malgundi days on Doordarshan as well. I used to personally watch. I loved the show. If even if you go on YouTube right now, you'll see many Malgudi days story. Okay, and this is your chapter. Okay, you are very grateful that you have your parents with you. So always respect them and don't have ego issues. Even if you have quarreled with them, if you had fight with them, please say sorry to them and be nice with them because they are working for you, right? And the question and answers I'll be posting on the Google Classroom. I hope you have enjoyed your chapter number 1. Please reread this a shadow. I'll be also posting this a shadow, these entire Malgudi Days book on your Google Classroom. Okay, you can download it from there. Okay guys, thank you so much. I hope you have understood the entire story.